Okay, thank you for coming. Then thank you for being patient with us starting in just a couple minutes. Anyways, welcome to the How to Design Responsive Websites on Doudna One webinar. My name is Cody Zimmer. I'm the education manager here at Doudna, and with me is Asaf Shalev.
Hello, everyone.
Asaf is not just a designer; he's actually our lead designer here at Doudna. He's made all sorts of beautiful websites
Beautiful.
on the platform. He's really a stickler for design, and so we're really excited to have a chance to talk with him today and have him share some of his tips and strategies for making beautiful websites on our platform with you guys today. So before we get started, I do want to cover a couple of housekeeping items. So number one, someone already asked this, but I do want to repeat it that we are recording today's webinar. So there'll be a full recording of the webinar, and if you've registered, you will receive a copy of the replay, in your email. So if you're worried about taking notes or anything like that, don't be worried. You will have a copy of this to review in your email. So let's see, let's go ahead and start talking about today's agenda. So first, we're going to introduce Doudna, let you know who we are and kind of what we do and what our platform does. Then we're going to go over the design brief that you've already checked out. So I'm going to just kind of run through that, give you guys a quick overview of what we're expecting to see out of the work and how you can submit it. And then Asaf is going to run you through designing a beautiful website with the platform, choosing a template, moving your content over, or moving any content over, and then really how to get into the editor and start making really beautiful changes. Then near the end, we're going to go over some special features of Doudna, namely our insights, which is our content personalization feature, and then show you our mobile editor as well. And then we'll save some time at the end for questions. So as we move along, if you do have questions, just feel free to type them into the questions box. And Asaf and I will save some time at the end of the webinar today to go ahead and answer those for you.
Definitely.
Okay, so let's start off a little bit about Doudna. So we're actually here in Palo Alto, California. We're a responsive website builder platform. So that's what we're primarily known for, but we do have a mobile website platform as well, which we'll talk about in a moment. We're really targeted for web professionals, web agencies, designers who work and make websites for other people. That's really who we target. We've been around for about 5 years. So we're really stable. We've been doing this for a while. We have a fantastic product in that sense that's really catered towards agencies and designers. And so far, we have 5 million sites built on the Doudna platform, which is fantastic. So like I said, we are here in Palo Alto, California, but we do have offices worldwide in both Israel and Japan. And we've partnered with a lot of names in the industry. So our two core products, we have Doudna One, which is the responsive website builder, which we're primarily going to focus on today. But in addition, we also have Doudna Mobile, which is our mobile-only website builder. And this is not a responsive website. This is for a client or a customer that wants to keep their original website and add a mobile website to it. And it'd be connected through a JavaScript redirect. So we do have products that cater to both types of customers. Today we're focusing on Doudna One, but we are going to show you briefly what we have with Doudna Mobile as well. In addition to that, we also have a really unique feature to Doudna, and that is Insight, which is really all about customer or content personalization or website personalization for a user. And this is really important for messaging to clients, to their customers, being able to cater a website to an individual. You just get better engagement for your client from their customers. And so Insight is a system that lets you set up triggers and actions. And we'll go into this more detail and show it to you, but this is something that's really cool. This is really cutting edge, and we're pretty excited about it. And we'll talk about it when we get into the design section. We also have a partner program. This is the program that really helps agencies service their clients. And this is something that you will need access to for to complete the design brief. It's not going to cost anything. There's a 30-day free version of it. So you're able to get in there, use the partner program, make the sites, and submit the work without any cost to you. And it's just a white label platform that lets you build the responsive websites, gives you some API access if needed, if you're more technical and you want to develop on it, and a number of other features. I'm not going to go too in depth into this, but I do want to let you know that this is something that you will be using as part of this design brief. Now, speaking of the design brief, let's go ahead and take a look at that. So here's the design brief. You guys have probably looked at it. You may have noticed right off the bat it says no coding skills needed. And then when you read the job type, saw that it's web design coded, design and coding required. So this is actually just due to the selection, the drop down in design crowd. Don't let that scare you off. No coding is required for this. You don't need to code. You can use our website builder, and that's fine. That's just the generic job type. So basically what we're doing is we're looking for sample websites on a kind of an inspiration page we're putting on our website that's going to show off how beautiful the websites are that you can make with Doudna's platform. And so we want you to help us out with this and build some sample websites. So what we're looking for is a restaurant type website. It needs to be a minimum of 2 pages. You need to have a home page and a menu page. And we have a list here of the different elements that we want you to add in the different pages. So for example, on the home page, you need to be adding contact details or a paragraph about the restaurant. These don't need to be real contact details and real copy. We're not interested in that. You can just add in lorem ipsum, but you need to have some stuff there that fills up the page. In addition, you need to add some of our features like Yelp reviews. So choose a business to have Yelp reviews and import them. Reserve a table button. And business hours. Now on the menu page, you do need to add a menu, and we'll cover how to do this when we get into the design section. And then the footer, there should be some social media links and then a map. These aren't all that you can put in there, so you can put more than this, but this is at minimum what you need to have inside of your design. So you can add more pages, you can add more elements, and get really creative with it. We don't really, we don't really want to limit you here. Just be creative and come up with something that looks cool. That's really what we're looking for.
I would say show us something that we never saw with our platform. Like create a site that we never saw and never thought of, like that we can do something like that. And yeah, like Cody said, be creative.
Right. So once you've built the site, you don't actually need to publish it. To get started too, you need to sign up for the 30-day free trial. Here, so you have access to the platform, and then you can just start making sites. You no need to publish them. You just need to send us and submit the preview link with your submission to this Design Crowd project, and we'll show you how to do that when we get into the editor. And that's really all we're looking for from you. So that's the overview of the design brief. And let's see. Let's go ahead and get started with the training, and then we'll see if there's any questions a little bit later.
Yeah, definitely.
Does that sound good?
Yep. Let's do this. Okay, guys, so we're starting with a site called roti.com. Roti is a restaurant, Mediterranean grill, just a typical restaurant that I think the website is pretty typical to a lot of restaurants here in the US. What we see here is very basic. You have the menu here, like a drop-down thing, slideshow, some social stuff. But you can see the whole site is really centered in this box inside the screen. If I make the screen size smaller, you can see that the site is not really responsive to the size screen. What that means, it means that it won't look good on mobile or on tablet. And that's something that's the big issue that we're trying to solve here with Doudna. We're trying to create, we gave you a platform that will make websites be always responsive, that you can easily edit device by device, and there won't be a case where people will try to reach you from mobile or tablet and they'll see something like this. So what we're going to do now is we're going to save a lot of development time by just grabbing this URL, and we'll import it into one of our templates. And what that means is that all the content that you see here in this site or in Roti's Facebook page or any other social channel that is connected to this site, we'll just import all the content from this and we'll put it in one of our templates. So we'll just take roti.com. I'm going to copy this URL and we'll go to our platform. This is the user dashboard. You'll have one once you sign in, once you register, and I'll just create a responsive website. The next step will be to choose the right template. So what you see here is the variety of templates we have here in Doudna. Basically, a lot of different layouts. Of course, everything is constructed from the same element, so you'll have some consistency through the editor. So you edit each of the templates in the exact same way, but you do have different starting points with the different templates. We have parallax. If you know what that means, it's like a really cool, trendy effect that you can scroll and the background moves in different pace. A more classic view of like a small grid that usually works on small screens. Really go through them, check out the different looks, and just decide what you like best. You have the preview here. You can really see all of them in action. What I'm going to do, I'm going to choose Parallax. That's kind of my favorite template here. I'm going to push start. Now, you immediately see that you can edit this thing on 3 devices, and that's what we'll do. We have 2 options. We can start with this template from scratch, which means that you'll just get these templates with all, you'll get it exactly how it looks here, with these colors, with this background image, this type of text. But what I'm going to do here, I'm going to put Roti's URL. And what that means is once I start, I will immediately import not just the content, but also the CSS. I'm going to push start here. And you'll see that what will happen is we're going to import all the images, and we're getting all the colors and location. We're getting all the data, all the possible data we can from anything that was linked or connected to that website. You see here a list of all the pages that we found, and we're just going to hit next, and we're just going to import all of them. So right now the platform is creating the website. We're getting all the content and implementing it into the template. So we're understanding what is the main content, where we should put the main images. We're looking for your business hours and putting it in the right place.
And once we pull that content in, we actually present it to you in the editor, and that'll be popping up here in a second.
Yeah.
And I'm going to give you kind of a little bit of an overview of that. Just a second here.
So just so you know, once we see this, you'll be already like, I don't know, 70% ready. Like this is your site now. You already have 70% of the site ready to go. Where do you want to go?
Yeah, and to continue on what Asaf was saying, you remember that the Parallax template we showed you was blue with pictures of laptops. You can see that we've actually pulled in images of pita and couscous and pictures of staff there. And you'll notice that it's got a white background and the buttons are like this reddish brown color. So we've really tried to match the colors and CSS and bring in the imagery, and then also the data too from the business. We've got the restaurant's address right here. Down at the bottom, you can see we've got their business hours, some pictures of probably the owners, the managers. And then we also have links to their social media. You can see in the little status bar as I mouse over these. These are actually linking to Roti's Facebook, Roti's Twitter, Roti's Instagram. And so these are we've pulled the information in, and these are really filled out with that customer information, which we think gives you a head start. But like Asaf was saying, this is really a starting point of where you're going to start your design and really start to make it
Just
better.
think of all these businesses out there that don't have a responsive website, but they do have a lot of content on the web. You can just by one click give them this, which is pretty amazing.
Right. So what we're looking at here is the Doudna 1 responsive editor, and there's really 3 main sections that you need to be aware of. So right here in the middle where we've got the website, this is what we call the inline editor. Sometimes we call it the staging area, and you can edit anything you see in here. So this is drag and drop. You can drag and drop items around. It's really arranged into a grid layout. So there's rows. You can see this is a row. This is a row right here. And within the rows, there's columns. So this is a column with elements inside of it, and this is a column over here with a picture element or an image element inside of it. And this is really for that responsive grid. If you're familiar with responsive frameworks like Bootstrap or Foundation, which is what Doudna's based off of, we do need it to be in that grid format. So as you move to smaller devices, the columns will stack on each other. So you can edit inside here by dragging and dropping and opening up elements. Up at the top, we have the menu bar, and this lets you choose different device views. So I can click to view the website in tablet, and then I can edit the website in tablet as well. As soon as it pops up here, there we go. So I can see the tablet version, and I can click to see the mobile version and edit the website here as well. Let's see. Pop up in just a sec. There we go. So I can see my mobile version. So it's important to note that this is not 3 different websites. It's one website on 3 different devices. You're just editing the view, so it is fully responsive. We also have the ability to undo or redo your changes or edits that you make, open up a preview, or publish the site. And then if you're really advanced, we have a code editor up here, which we'll talk about a bit more later. Now over on the left, we have the sidebar, and here's where you get into the bulk of the editing options for the website. So the design section is really global changes. So this is like kind of like editing CSS, but an easier way to do it, where you can set global colors or font or text styles or backgrounds for the website. The add element section lets you add new elements into the site, so you can easily just drag and drop elements over if you want to. Uh, Manage Pages shows you all the pages for the website, so you can go in here and select different pages or rearrange them or reorganize them. And then Images and Content is really the content library where that business information lives, so you can manage that for a customer, for a client. Insight and e-commerce are a little bit more advanced. We're going to talk about Insight a little bit later, but these are kind of special features. And then finally, there's site settings, which lets you get into more of those detailed site settings like the URL, analytics, SEO, backups, that sort of thing.
Okay.
All right, sound good? Let's get started.
So let's start designing this website. We'll start by hitting the design section. As Cody mentioned, these are global changes. What does that mean? So if you use CSS or HTML, that means that we have classes, we have different groups of elements, and each change here will actually change a whole class of elements. So if I choose a color palette, like for example, this is the color palette that we got initially from the template. These are color palettes that we actually created because we kind of recognize the colors from Roti.com. So we can just click them and all these colors will immediately change throughout the whole site. But what I want to show you is that you can actually customize and really determine which color goes to where, which element. So let's play around with the color of the buttons. Just to show you what I mean. So right now you see this button is brown and this button is brown, and the change here will be globally for the whole site. So if I change it to red, you can see that it's going to happen throughout the whole site. So this is red and also this is red. And the big difference is that I can actually do this locally here, which means that if I click on the button, you can see that immediately I have all the editing options. I can go to edit, and then I can change this button. I go to design here. Everything in the editor is very literal, by the way. So no hidden icons. It's really, we designed it so even if it's your first time designing a website or using a web, some sort of web interface, you'll just need to open your eyes and read, and you'll find what you're looking for. So if you want to edit a button, look for button edit. So it's pretty simple. So if I'm changing the color here, changing it to this brownish red, then if I scroll down, you can see that the other button is still red. So the change was just local. Some other tricks that I can do here, I can make it without a background color. I can change the border color. And let's do text. Just showing you some tricks as I go. I'm changing the text color to brown, to black, sorry. And what you see here on buttons is that I can actually also control the hover effect. So when the mouse is hovering, I can get different settings. So I'll change the text to white and then the background to black. And what we'll get is this fancy button. And I just changed this one. So that's what I mean when I can do local changes and global changes. More changes that I can do here is text styles. Again, it's like CSS. We have the paragraph text. If I go to customize, I see more options like large title, it's the H1, small titles, H3. If you're familiar with HTML, so that means a lot to you. If not, doesn't matter. Just read large title, small title. Let's change the titles to lobster. Love this font.
And the food.
And the what? And the food, yes. Goes great with red buttons. Lobster. Boom. So you see the change again. It was globally. You can see that all my titles in the website became lobster font. By the way, it's a Google free font. You can download it, play with it, do a print with it, do whatever you want with it. So yeah, this is pretty cool. And I can actually play locally and play with the inline editor and just double click this and make this thing, this title, huge without really affecting the other titles. So this is now a huge title, which I really like actually. I like this huge. font. I don't know. I love this.
It looks good, actually.
Yeah, we'll keep it. And you see this wasn't affected. If I would change it here, of course, it will change everything. More global changes. Navigation is pretty important. You can see that navigation is something very specific to each template, so not all the templates have the same navigation. But I'm talking about desktop, but on tablet and mobile, we actually have different types of navigations that we can play with, also global changes. Let's try the mobile version. So you can see this one is surrounded with this gray outline. That means we're right now on the hamburger menu. Very classic. People know how to use it. I wouldn't say it's the best user experience because some people kind of ignore it. So you can play with like a top menu. And then we have all our different pages here, or even do something like this. More old-fashioned, but I think it's very user-friendly. Just go with the buttons. We can edit all the icons here. If I click on the edit for the navigation, of course, like this is something you should get used to. If you want to change something inside an element, just click and edit. If you think that this change might be like, I don't know, relevant to another element, then just go for a global change. Cody, you want to add something? You're good.
No, I think
we're good.
That's good.
Okay, let's go back to the desktop view. I want to go through all these different, because this is a design webinar and you guys are supposed to be designers. I think you are. So I think these features are very important for you. Buttons, we can really play around with the button style. Also a global change. I really like this guy. You can just choose and this will be a global change for everything. You can also do this locally, of course. You see this, I just chose this thing with this gradient that makes it look like it has some depth. So as I click it, you're really pushing the button. And we can also play with the backgrounds of the site. Now this is pretty important. We have a few layers to our website. So let's say, Cody, I'm going to go a little bit through the inline editing and we'll kind of mix the two together so you really see the dynamic between them. So
sounds good.
Yeah, we have a structure of rows and columns as Cody mentioned before. So of course, yeah, you can add it inside, but what I want to talk about is the dynamic between global change here or local change, which means globally you can change the background of the whole site. This is something that if I change here, it will influence the whole site. So if I choose an image to be the background of the tablet, it means that any page, anywhere, like through all the pages, if I'm looking at the site from a tablet, I'll see this image on the background. Same for mobile, and for all devices, I can also choose a color. That means that if this background was transparent, I would see the background of the whole site. So there are different layers here. There's this row's background, and there's the background of the whole site. So I'm just going to show you by editing this row. I'm clicking the background image, and right now I have a gray image, but I don't have a background. That means that I can change the background here. That means the site has this white background that we saw before, and I can also change and give it like an image as a background. So I'll go with textures now. We'll talk about this a little bit later. Yeah, let's take something else. This is a cool texture. This one, 70s. So yeah, you can really, wow, yeah. Not the best design here, but it's pretty cool. It's pretty fancy. Yeah, so you can really play around with this. But if I take this and remove it, and I take the background image and remove that, I go back to the background image of the site. So once I change it from here, I will get like this background image. You get it. The reason I explain all this is because you can really play around with it and get some really nice effects. I'm going to show you a site that I created for a company called Cannonball. Cannonball, where is it?
Maybe just refresh it.
Yeah, I'll just refresh the page for a second. This is a website I did on Doudna One, of course. We used a pretty similar template. Maybe it was even the same one. I just want to show you an effect that I did with creating a background image. This is the site's background image. And what we have here is a row. This is a full row that has a PNG as an image. Like this PNG is transparent. So what I created like a layer that has transparency inside of it. And when I scroll, I hover the background image. So if you're a little bit creative and innovative, you can create really cool effects with it. So the kid is really cannonballing into the wave. Enough about that.
That's really cool.
It is cool. It is cool. You can definitely take this URL and check out this site for inspiration. I did some other neat tricks here. And actually, I'm not maintaining this site. The owners of the vineyard are right now maintaining it. So they play around with it. They got it. They're like doing whatever they want with it. More options that we have here for global changes is the full bleed row. I'm not really going to play with it, but I want to show you that our rows are actually built. Oh, you see, everything is now brown because this is the background image that controls everything. Let me just give. I just hate brown. It's not brown. It's like
background color. Right?
Yeah, the background color. So I'm just giving it like, let's do this color. Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about this grid, this row and columns. So Cody showed you before, we have a row and we have columns. The reason we build it this way, so it will easily be translated to mobile and tablet. We can easily change the width of each column. You can see that as you hover anything on the site, we immediately like show you different marks that will explain where you are and what is it that you can do. So if I go to the borders of each of a row, I can really stretch it. What is this thing? Okay. So you can really stretch it and unstretch it, and you can see it stretches from both sides. More things I can do here. I can actually click an image and really make it smaller. I can see exactly the location where it's located. You can see as I drag it. Wait, sorry. I'm clicking too many times. So as I drag it, you can see on the left corner that I can really see the position, and I can move it around manually, or I can just click it, and you'll have here the alignment marks that you can play around with that. Let's align it to the right. So yeah, it's really easy, very similar to any other editor, image editor, I don't know, text editor. We kind of use the same methods. This is drag and drop. I'll show you what we can do with this. Let's add a column to this row. Let's just switch the position of this image and move it over. Just dropped here. Move it to this column. So really, as I drag and drop, you can see that there are different marks and placeholders on the website that will show you exactly where you can land. So yeah, I just move it around. Really easy to use. Cool. So what is the full bleed section here? Full bleed means that you can actually break the whole. I'm going to close this for a second. Full bleed means that you can actually break the grid that we have here. So if you really want to experiment with the grid, you can click this thing, and then you don't have a grid that we're limiting you to. So you can really use the edges and drag things all the way to the sides like this. But I'm not going to do that. Just be careful with this because it might break some alignments later in mobile and tablet. Let's add some elements.
Yeah.
Cool. Different section, add element. So this is really the bank of all of our different elements on our site. Of course, you can, if you don't find something here and you're like a little bit experienced with coding, then you can, like Cody mentioned, you can go here to access the HTML and CSS of the site and put whatever you want. But I think this covers pretty much everything, especially what you need for a restaurant. So you can drag in a paragraph or an image. Let's add a column and add something to this section. Cody, what do you want to add?
Let's add in, how about just a basic image?
Basic image. So we'll just drag an image here. So what I'm getting is, you saw this before, but I didn't really go through it. This is my image bank. So these are all the images that I imported from the original site of Roti. So you can see all these different plates that they had in their site, but we also have images that we imported from their Facebook page. Like this was automatically linked. So you can see all these images in a minute. We also have a gallery here, image gallery that is a Doudna gallery. All of these images are free for you to use. You can play around with them. Make sure that you check out the size of the images. So if you want to do a really fancy header image, you can use this. I would use actually 1600 is a really good size for a fancy background image. And you also have the upload option that you can always upload a new image from your computer, from Dropbox, from a link, whatever you want to do. Let's just grab an image from here. I like this guy. Cool. So we have this image. You can play with the design here, give it a border, make some effect. You can make it with round corners. You don't really see it because of the background. You can play with the spacing of the image here. So I can make this. I can move it from here if I don't want to move it manually. So you can really play with padding and margins. I would actually use this if I want to make a more consistent behavior through the site. So yeah, that's pretty cool. Let's get rid of this image.
Let's show adding in a table reservation button.
Table reservation button, no problem. So because we're a restaurant, I want to actually get rid of this button and show. I'll get rid of this column first. Let's be organized here. Yeah, this button doesn't mean a lot. Like read more doesn't make sense. I'm just gonna delete it. And reservations, we'll do it from OpenTable.
By the way, this is one of the required elements in the design.
Yes. So I'm just going to grab this, and you can see this blue line that tells me exactly where I can land it. Or if I'm putting it here, it will open a new row. But I'm just going to put it in this column, drop it. Immediately, it gets the style of the buttons. Find the table. This is what the button will say. I can put the restaurant ID. Cody?
Yeah, so if you were connecting this to an actual OpenTable account, you'd put in the restaurant ID, and then you'd be able to choose their location, where they are in the world. So this does support US and Canada, UK and Germany right now. So this will definitely work, and then when the user clicks this, it'll take them right into that OpenTable reservation system, which is really handy. But for the purposes of the design brief, you don't need to do that. Just add in, find a table, and you can hit the X up here to close out of this if you want to.
Exactly. So now that we have a find a table button, I want to show you actually what we'll do with in our mobile version. So we have a find a table, which is one CTA, one call to action that a restaurant might use, but some people might use it like we'll open the site from mobile, and what they'll want to do is call the restaurant or find its location. So sometimes on different devices, we have different types of content that are necessary. So I'll show you how we handle this here in Doudna. When you open the mobile version, let's scroll down. Let's find the button. Here it is, find a table. So I actually don't want the find a table to be here. I want people from mobile to just give me a call. Like I want a very clear button that will show that they can immediately call me and contact my business. So I'm gonna come here and I'm gonna drag a click to call button. Just put it above it or under it. So yeah, we have the phone number and everything, call us. I don't want to. You understand this, right? Yeah. I think this is actually Roti's phone number, right?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, so it immediately imported Roti's phone number. So we're good to go. Now, this button is not really relevant when we open a desktop site. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a very unique and very cool and effective function here that I can actually click the button and go to hide on device. And what I'm going to do here now is I'm going to hide this from tablet, and I'm going to hide it from desktop. And this button will only show now when you're using the site for mobile. And the same thing I'm going to do here for find a table. I'm going to hide it for mobile. So we don't see it anymore. I can always come here. Once we have hidden elements, I can always click this, and I can see it's here, and I can click it and unhide it, but I want to hide it, and immediately.
Let's take a look at it too in the preview.
You want to see the preview?
Yes.
Okay, so yeah, if we're going to the preview, this is the preview mode. You can see the desktop, the mobile, but let's see all the devices together. So you can see this is the desktop. It's live inside. You can play around with it, really compare all the sites together. So this is where we were, right?
Yep.
So yeah, so here we have find the table, come and visit, find the table. And on mobile, as we scroll, we have come and visit, call us. Pretty cool.
Yeah, so you're able to really differentiate the content and the calls to action on the different devices.
I think that's really something that makes our editor unique, because we really try to make our site as efficient as possible from that perspective. Yeah, you just need different content on different devices. More things that you can do on mobile that I really want to show you. So when you're editing your site on different devices, there are other things that might change from desktop view and mobile view that won't automatically and necessarily change. Sometimes you want to emphasize text differently, or change the spacing of the images. So for example, it's kind of weird that now we have this image and this image, where on desktop they were like, this was very small and this was a full row, and now they kind of we're seeing them on the same hierarchy, and that's not necessarily a good thing for design. So you can always like make this row, just hide it. You don't want to see it on mobile. It's too much. So I'm hiding this row. I'm not used to Cody's mouse.
Hey, my trackpad is awesome.
Okay, and then what else I'm going to do is I'm going to change the spacing here, because I like my images to be free with a lot of air to breathe. And I'm going to move them. Now, all these changes, when I'm changing the padding and margins of the mobile view, they won't affect the desktop view. That's because we understand that the change that we do here not necessarily are the same changes that we'll do on desktop. So let's move this one as well, and let's make this guy huge again. So I'm gonna make this very big. So only changes that are text size and spacing won't be affected throughout the different devices. So let's make this really big.
I think that's important to reinforce it. Like when you're adjusting like the padding and margins and the different elements like Asaf is doing, or adjusting text size, that's not going to be reflected on desktop. But if you, for example, deleted this text or changed it from come and visit to come say hi, that's changing the content that would be reflected on desktop.
So yeah, so this really applies only for spacing and size. So if I go back to desktop, in a minute, you go back here and you see this was the original size that we saw before, and the spacing didn't change at all. Cody, do you want to talk a little bit about the menu?
Yeah, so one of the other requirements you'll see in the design brief is to add a menu. So we actually have a menu page here. So you can see I can just click to go to it. It's one of the pages that we actually imported in. So we've got the menu here. And this is, let's pretend like we don't have it. So I'm actually just going to delete the menu. So this is an empty page. So if we were going to add this in, we just go to, where is it, restaurant menu, drag and drop it in, just like any other element. And you can see that we automatically identify Roti's menu. We found it automatically online since we imported this from someplace else. And this is something Doudna tries to do over and over again, is we try to automatically bring in content to make it easier for you to build a site. But if you're building from scratch, you're just building a template, you're probably not going to have that. So you're going to see something that looks more like this. Where you have the option to build your own menu, find it online, or upload one from a file. And since you do need to actually include menu items with your design brief submission, I did want to make sure to show you this, that if you want to build your own menu, you can click here. It's actually pretty easy to go through and add appetizers and main courses. You can just click the pencil to go ahead and type in a new item or a new name. But it may be easier for you to actually import one, so I'm actually going to go back to the beginning here. So you can find a menu online. So if you have a website URL or a phone number, I'm going to just search for roti.com actually. If you do a search, we actually search both low-Q and single platform, so we find different restaurants in here, you can just click on one, and then we'll go ahead and pull in all the menu items automatically. And so that is something that's very easy to do. So make sure to do that. In the same way, you also need to add Yelp reviews. And so you can drag and drop these in and import these as well. So definitely add some of those to your site. But I think that we're getting a little short on time here, and we have a few more things we need to cover. So actually, let's go ahead and move on to Insight. So this is that content personalization feature that I mentioned briefly in the agenda or in the beginning of the webinar. This is something that's really unique to Doudna. And so the way this works is you're setting up a series of triggers and actions on the website to customize the content based on those conditions that you set up. So I think there we go.
It is.
So I think the easiest way to kind of explain this to you is to actually go through building your own insight. But first, let me show you, we do have a number of rules set up. So we do have predefined triggers and actions. And so these can be things like time, like the day of the week, the type of device, a person's location, and you can combine that with a specific action, like showing a video or showing a coupon or showing a notification bar. And so we've combined a lot of these into what we call insight rules. But to show you in more detail, I can go ahead and go into build your own insight, and I can just choose my triggers. So for example, device, I can say when someone comes to my site on a tablet, or when someone comes to my site on a smartphone, I want to do X. I want to do whatever the action is. Likewise, you can also say location. When someone comes to my site from a certain location, like let's say someone's nearby my restaurant, I want to show them a coupon saying, hey, you're 5 minutes away, come in for half off appetizers or something like that. You can also do time. So this can be day of the week, like Saturday and Sunday. This can be time of the day, like happy hour from 4 to 6 p.m. Or it can be like for a holiday, like Happy New Year's or Merry Christmas or Happy Black Friday sale, something like that. So at a certain time, we can show different content on the website. And then you can also do something like number of visits. So you can show different content to first-time visitors that someone who's been to the site 5 times will see. And then we also have a campaign URL. And this is if there's some sort of ongoing PPC campaign, you need to show something different to someone, you can do that through here. But where it really gets powerful is you can actually combine these. So you can actually combine, like, let's say device and location, and say anyone who's on a mobile phone that is in Palo Alto will see this coupon or this notification or something like that. So I'm actually going to show you setting that up. So let's choose device and location. And so first we get to choose a device. I can choose desktop, tablet, or mobile. I'm going to just say desktop and mobile, for example, for this, just for the sake of this demonstration. So it's easy for me to show you the effect. But you could just limit it to one of the devices, or you could do all devices. So I'll just leave it as all devices. Next, you can choose a location. This is going to be United States. So I'm going to do Palo Alto. So you can get about as accurate to a city. That's as close as we're going to get. So that's still really accurate. And you know what? I'm actually going to change the trigger here real quick because I want to get rid of device. Yeah. I'm going to get rid of device, and the one I really want to add in here is time. So I want to show you guys time. So let's go ahead to time. So we're going to do at a certain location on a certain time. So this is nearby Palo Alto, and we're going to choose a date. So we can do March 5th. So let's choose our start date here. We'll do it for this weekend. So we'll do Saturday. Change the end date to be Sunday. So this is going to be Saturday and Sunday all day. We could choose a specific time if we want. And we can even make this reoccur. So this happens automatically every weekend or every month. But we'll just leave it as once for now. And then we're going to go ahead and choose our action. And so we have a number of different actions you can choose. So when that condition is met, when someone comes to our website from our city this weekend, we can choose to show them a new row of content. And this content can contain a number of different things. It can contain a coupon, it can contain a video, a special map, a special happy hour grade.
Yeah, I wanna talk about like a very specific use case that can be really great here. Let's say that you have a restaurant and every day there's a different special on the menu. Okay, so instead of the site owner to get inside the site and update it every day, you can just create like a few different insights, and every day they will change automatically and like show a different coupon. So today's special is soup get the coupon. Tomorrow's special is, I don't know, spaghetti, get a coupon. So you can really, like, it depends on the business and the business type. How do you use it eventually?
Mhm. So in addition to that new content, you can also add in a special effect, like we have animations
Yeah,
for holidays, and then a notification bar, which is a little
really.
pop-up that'll pop up at the top. And then you can also execute your own custom JavaScript. So you can actually code your own custom action that'll happen. We're just going to choose a notification bar. We'll click next. And this is just one of those little bars that'll pop up at the top. So first thing I'm going to do here is just say, let's see, I'm just going to do Merry Christmas. Come in for happy hour. Okay, reserve a table, let's say, for example. So this is just going to be my message. I'm going to highlight the first part. I'm going to pretend like I'm a
We're gonna check Cody's typography skills.
And I know that he mentioned lobster earlier, so I'm going to go right down and just add in lobster.
Yes.
And come in for happy hour looks good. And for reserve a table, I'm actually going to make that a link.
Gonna make Merry Christmas bigger.
Oh, okay. Well, I can do that in a minute here. Let me link this to an existing page on my site. I'm just going to link it to our contact page for now. So I have a live link here. I need to make Merry Christmas bigger. Okay.
Yeah.
Right, so let's do this. How do I do that in here? Oh, smaller. Okay, there we go. Medium. There we go. Merry Christmas is now bigger. And I will also change the background color. Let's make this that site red, and let's make the text a nice white color instead of a blue. So there, we've got a nice little custom notification. We can actually preview what this will look like for the people who come to my site this weekend who are in Palo Alto for that specific thing. It'll pop up right here at the top. So it's really easy to add in to a website. So if you did add an insight to your design submission, you'll win bonus points from us.
All right.
We'd love to see something like that. So that's insight really in a nutshell right there. So let's see what's next. All right, so let's get back to the site editor, and I'm going to show you one more thing in here, guys, real quick. I know we're getting kind of short on time. I do want to leave a few minutes at the end for questions. So in the site settings, as you're going through, if you do need to add analytics and tracking, you can add that right here. We do have built-in analytics. There are SEO options, both globally and locally. So on a site-wide level or on a page level, you can adjust the title, meta description, and keywords. If you need to add custom HTML to the header, you can have access to that here. You can add in your own custom scripts. And if you need custom access to the code, you can actually do that up here by opening up the code editor. And then also, as you're going through, if you need to save a backup of your site for any reason, we save them automatically when you publish, but you can actually just save a backup anytime so that if you're worried about losing your changes, you can always restore from a previous backup. So it's definitely something to know about. Now, I'm going to go back to the dashboard here. So once you've designed your site, you don't need to publish it. Just go back to the dashboard, and since you'll be in the free trial, you'll be able to create what are called preview links. And this is what we want you to submit to us once your design is completed. You just click this preview link right here. And so this will open up. You can see ours is white labeled because as a Doudna Pro, you're able to customize this, add your own custom logo and everything. So if you want to add your own custom logo and everything to your preview link, go for it. And just copy this URL. This is what we want you to send us with the design for your submission for the design brief. And this will let us go and fully check out your website and preview everything. So this is definitely what we want to see. All right, so this was all creating the responsive website. I have a couple more minutes. I want to show you really briefly our other products. So that was Doudna 1. This is Doudna Mobile, which is our ability to create a mobile-only website. So this is not a responsive website. This is a small mobile website that you'll add in addition to an original website. So it works just like Doudna 1, where I can type in the URL and we can convert it. So we're going to automatically import all the content from that original website and just build a mobile-friendly version of it. And this would be connected to the original website using a JavaScript redirect, which you'd have to place on the original website. So once it imports all the content, it'll pop up in our mobile editor, which is very similar to the Doudna 1 editor, but you can tell it's related, but it is a little different. It's tweaked to be optimized for mobile only. So you'll see the mobile website over here on the right. Just like in Doudna 1, you'll notice as I mouse over any element in here, I can go ahead and click on it to edit it. So For example, the click to call, I can click edit, and I can change the button, and I have options to go into the design and more, just like in Doudna 1. It's broken into 3 sections: design, pages, and go live. Design is your global changes. You can adjust the navigation layout. So we have a bunch of different options here, including different button styles and different types of navigations, including expanding navigation. We have global color settings and styles. You can change the text and link settings, different colors. You can adjust the different pages of the mobile website here, so you can go to different pages, and then you can drag and drop new content in, and just like in Doudna 1, this is a drag and drop site builder, so you can drag and drop content around. Then when you're finished, you can actually go to the go live, and just like with Doudna 1, we actually have preview links here that you can copy and paste, then you can go ahead and publish it. So we did want to let you know we do have a mobile-only site solution as well. Let's see. So that's pretty much it from my side.
Yeah, I would just like to say one last thing about you guys as designers and what this tool can mean to you. I've been using Doudna 1 for like more than a year now, and I know it by heart. But actually, the learning curve is really quick. Yes, it's a powerful tool. It's not meant to just create online business cards. It's meant to create real functioning websites. And I think once you play around with it, just go inside, play around with the different templates. You'll see how easy it is. And once you have this possibility to be as a designer, when you can really go to Photoshop and create your own designs and talk to clients and then understand what they want, and also have a tool like Doudna, your power is really infinite. Like you can do whatever you want with it, and I think it can be a great leap for your career. For me, it was.
Exactly. Okay, let's go back to our slideshow here. So I think we went through the went through the training. So we did want to let you know that you do have resources and support as you're going through. If you have questions as you're building your site, you can access our self-help portal at support.doudnamobile.com. You can also contact our support team. I think this information is listed in the design brief, but I did want to reinforce this. So if you do get stuck, feel free to go ahead and check out. There's probably an article on it, or you can contact the team or email them at support@doudnamobile.com. So we did want to thank you for joining us today. We really appreciate
you, Cody.
We appreciate you taking some time with us. And we're going to go ahead and check to see if there are any questions now at this time, and hopefully do our best to answer them. All right, let's see. Adam, you're asking, can you put the Facebook link? Absolutely, you can generate a site from Facebook. You don't need to do it from an existing website. So that's actually a great solution. If a customer has a Facebook page but they don't have a website, you can generate a responsive website for them very, very quickly using Doudna 1. Tommy, you're saying this is amazing. Thank you.
Thank you.
We'd love to hear that. That's great to hear. Aslam, you're asking if you're going to learn to build a website in this webinar. You need to build one. Hopefully, those are the beginning. So hopefully we showed you how to do that. If you have any questions, let us know. Robin, you're saying that's awesome. That's fantastic. Nick, you're saying this is awesome. That's really great, guys. Jessica, you're asking, can you add to the HTML code? For example, there's an application that has its own follow button that's not recognized, but it does have HTML code. Yes, absolutely. Yeah. You can do that. So if I were to show you how to do that, I'll take a moment and show you really, really briefly how to do that. So let's go into the editor real quick. And we actually have it's one of our elements. It's the custom HTML element. And I should have stayed in the editor. This would take a little faster. Give it 1 sec to load up here. All right, so let's go to add element. And if we scroll down to advanced, you can see the code one here. This is just custom HTML, and you can just drag and drop this anywhere you'd like on the site. I'll just put mine right here for now, and you'll see that you can just have access to add your own custom HTML. So if you do want to embed something, we've seen people embed things like MailChimp sign-up widgets, things like that. You can definitely add that in here. So feel free to do that. Okay. Jessica's asking, can you import your own font from your computer or the font set to what you have available?
Actually, the fonts are set to, we have a lot of Google fonts. If you want to set your own font, you can do it. It's not an easy access thing. It's also through the code. But yeah, we don't have like an upload options of fonts. We have a lot of Google fonts, which are free to use. Other fonts, if you bought the font and you have a license for it, you can just upload it through the HTML.
Christiane, you're asking, how would the client edit content? That's a really great question. So there's actually two different ways to do this. So one is, if I go back here, I've got my images and content section. This is actually what we call our content library. You can actually get content from your client using a content collection form. So I can copy this URL and go to a new tab. And this is white labeled, so you can send it to a client so they don't see the Doudna branding. And they can actually fill out this form. They can upload their images, the logos. You can see it doesn't have the Doudna logo. It's got the Placeholder Studios logo. And they can enter in all their stuff and update their content for you here. And then you have access to it within the Doudna One editor as you're building it for them. The other option is you actually can add white label users to your account. So for example, if I go back to my dashboard, as a Doudna Pro, we have a full white label version of the editor. So we can go in here, hold on one second, and I can go to Doudna Pro. I can actually create users and assign them permissions. So if I added a new user in, I can have a customer here. I can choose which site they have access to. So it has to be a paid site, and I can add a customer to this site, and I can give them an email, create a login for them. They'll log into a white label version of the editor that has your logo and your branding, and then you can choose what they have access to. Because maybe you don't want them to have access to everything. They can choose to just have access to edit the site, or you can just take that away and maybe just give them access to the stats email. Or you don't want them to have access to Insight, or you do, you can choose that here, and so they can edit it themselves, or you can just give them access to the content collection form. That's really up to you how you want to run that. Dawn is asking, where do I sign up for the trial? Another great question. So the link should be in the design brief. I believe it's right here, instructions to register here. So this is the link that you'll want to follow to go ahead and sign up for the 30-day free trial. Let's see. Ocean, you're asking, is there a way to view the HTML CSS for custom changes, or does everything work through the platform? So if you did want to view the HTML and CSS, you can actually see everything from within the editor, and I'll go ahead and show that to you here. Let me go back to my dashboard. Click it. There we go. And let me go ahead and edit the site. Takes just a second. You have to.
Try to leave this window open.
Yeah.
For next time.
Thank you. Well, I keep going out of here. So if we go ahead and click on the dev mode button here, it's actually going to open up our code editor, and you can see that you have full access to the HTML and CSS. So we're looking at the home.css file. If we look at the home.html file, you can see you have full access to the code. And this is a fully editable code editor. So you can come in here. Let's say you wanted to add something in. I can add in, let's say, a div. And you can see we include autocomplete. And be careful, though, because it is possible to break the website when you're going in here and editing code. But we do try to prevent that. So, for example, let's say don't close this div, and I go to save. It's going to throw an error. It's going to throw an exception. Hey, make sure that your HTML is properly formatted. And I can say, oh, I forgot to close that div. So I can come back in here, write my closing tag, go ahead and save it. And now did I not close that? Oh, document is in the wrong location. Let's do one of these. Okay, I don't know what's.
Line 3, something else.
Oh, there's something else there.
Probably because you put it in HTML before. HTML.
Okay. There we go. That time I didn't save it, so I just didn't get rid of that. So you can mess it up, but we do try our best to try to prevent that. But you do have full access to any changes that you add in. So let's see. I think there's a few more questions here. I'd like to get to them. Dawn, thank you. Thank you. Elon, thank you as well. Nick, you're asking, can you confirm the cost to designers? Do we need to sign up for an account? So let's be really clear here. There is a cost to the platform. So the membership in Doudna Pro is $249 a year. And there's a cost to build the websites on the platform. As a Doudna Pro, you actually get a discount. They're $13 a month. But to be clear, to complete this design work, there is no cost to you. There's a free trial, so we're giving you free access to the platform, and you don't need to publish the site to submit your work to us. You just need to build it and send us the site. So it doesn't cost you anything to complete the job or the work, and you have free access to the platform during the trial. But yes, you do need to create a free account in order to do the work here. So if we go to Doudna Pro, you can see our partner program here, and if you want to check out the pricing, here's the pricing for the websites and everything right here. Let's see, Robert's saying, do I need to have or use your web hosting if I have my own? Yes, all the sites built on Doudna's platform are hosted on Doudna's platform. The hosting, you're not charged for the hosting, you're really just charged for the features that you're using. Yeah, a site built on Doudna's platform does need to stay on Doudna's platform. JJ is asking, if I wanted to create or use a shaped button, not a rectangle, is that possible?
So it is possible, but not exactly from the platform. So we're not really giving the option of changing the shape. Again, you can always play with CSS and do a different shape if you want. You can also just import an image of a button and use that and link the image. That's not a problem. The hover effect won't be automatically applied on images. So again, it's something that you'll have to add through the code. A very simple HTML of hover, and that's it. CSS, sorry.
Yeah. Robin says, this is one of the best website editors. I love you, Robin.
I love Robin. Robin, you're awesome.
Yeah. Adam saying, thanks, guys, on learn new stuff. Adam, glad to help out. Naomi saying, this is amazing. We want to use this software. Awesome platform. You guys are super nice.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Does it support different languages? Absolutely. So it does support different languages. What is it, Unicode 8 or something like that? Any foreign characters, Chinese, Hebrew, Arabic, they will all work inside of here. The platform itself is in English, but you can import foreign and international characters. Andre is saying, Kakura Tana is a game changer. With practice, it will definitely change the course of things for designers.
Nice.
We hope so. This is excellent feedback, and we're thank you for the praise. We really appreciate hearing it.
I think we answered that, hopefully.
That's a button question. Robin saying, so all of us can set up design for you? Yeah, I believe so. I'm not running the design brief myself, but it's off.
Yeah, sign up for the design,
of
course.
Sign up, submit. Is there integration with CMS? No, I mean, Doudna is really the design platform, and then really starting to be the CMS here. I think we covered the cost function. Are you also able to edit JavaScript? Loren's asking. Yeah, absolutely. So if you need to add JavaScript to the HTML into the head section, in the code editor, you can add JavaScript right alongside HTML. JavaScript is meant to live inside of a web browser right alongside HTML, so you can absolutely add that in. Dawn is asking, can you add more than one site? You can definitely add more than one site to your account. So in your dashboard, you can have a list of different sites, but you can't import more than one site's worth of content into a single site.
I think he's asking about applying, maybe, for the design crowd?
I do not know.
Okay, but you can add more than one design if you want.
Yeah, you can definitely create more designs if you want to. I'd read the rules on the design brief for that one. I apologize, I don't know.
You can definitely add more than one if you want.
Okay. Salam is saying, I didn't hear you, but just let me know if I can make a complete website with Doudna or not. Yes, you can, and if you're having issues hearing me, I'm just going to respond here To you, yes, definitely. Um, Andy's saying, if I'm building a site from scratch, what would you say the advantages of Doudna are over, say, Muse?
Oh, Muse. Actually, I don't have a lot of experience with Muse, but the thing that I love about using Doudna, I would say, is the editing by device. The templates, the starting point is very easy. You can really find pretty much any type of like classic designs that you have right now on the web, and the possibilities to break it or to break it and make it your own are very easy, as we saw with the HTML and CSS editor. Um, I'm not really that familiar with Muse. I
I'm
played
not
with it.
familiar.
I played with it a little bit. It seemed to me as a much like the learning curve on Muse is much more complicated. It's not web based. I think it's like a software on your computer, so that's a different story. I believe that the whole publishing process is much longer, but I'm not 100% sure of that.
Andre actually has a great suggestion here. He says for the Facebook grab source function, it should really be a social grabber, as clients may have client profiles on other sites, not necessarily just Facebook. Actually, they're both social grabbers. So when you actually enter in roti.com, we're pulling information from roti.com's website. We're not just scraping their website, we're also going to their Facebook page. We're checking to see if we can find them on Twitter.
On
We're looking
Google.
to see if we can find them on Google. We're seeing if we can find them on Yelp. We're checking single platform and Loku to try to find restaurant menus associated with them. So we're looking for that business's presence in
Yeah.
many different locations on the web to try to import as much content as we can possibly find every time we try to import, whether it's from just their Facebook or using their URL. So we're definitely taking advantage of that, but that is an excellent suggestion regardless. Don, you're saying, do you have a Harvest email form? No, we don't have like an email opt-in form because typically those emails need to go into a service,
Mhm.
whether that's Constant Contact or MailChimp or something like that. So on Doudna Mobile, on the mobile website, we actually have an integration with Constant Contact for that. But you can actually just use the HTML feature to add in an email opt-in for whatever your email marketing program is. Julie's saying, during the sample, is it just to see our design skills and get approved design for you guys, or is this actual paid site work? So the design samples. So this is the job that we posted to Design Crowd is to actually design websites for our sample page. So these are so it's not like a position with Doudna as a designer. This is
Yeah.
just we need designers to be creative and think outside the box. We want people who don't work at Doudna to go, and you guys are designers working with clients every day, and you're making websites all the time. So we want your input here. We want you to be creative and come up with cool things. And there's a lot more of you than there are of us here in the office. So we think you'll do some great work. Andy's saying, okay, cool. You answered my question. Adam, you're saying what? It's not free and we get paid on it. Well, the Doudna platform itself is not free once you actually sign up for it. But for purposes of fulfilling your obligation for the Design Crowd project, it is free. Dragana, you're saying we don't need to start a website from scratch. We can use a random restaurant site for this purpose. To be clear here, for this example, for the Design Crowd brief, you should be creating a fake restaurant. So you may use like a menu from a
Mhm.
restaurant. I don't think anyone's going to get upset with that, but you should definitely be inventing a new restaurant.
Yeah.
We don't want to have any restaurant calling us up to say, why is my
Yeah,
website on your page?
eventually, if we're going to use this as a template in the future or maybe present it on our website, we'll make sure that we have license for all the photos and design. So think more of the layout, show us like the type of, like use the pictures and the images just to show your design. And later, if your template will really be chosen to like be presented, then we'll make sure that everything is licensed and legal.
See, Robin's saying, where do we find the link on Design Crowd to design for you? So this is the link right here. I'm going to just send this to everybody right now here. So I'm going to send this to all. So we do have that, but I will also include this in the follow-up email at the end of the webinar. Guido's, you're saying is Doudna seems to be specialized to restaurants, right? I have about 40 clients in window manufacturing. They need other widgets like calculators. Is it possible to create and add them to the website? What if I make changes to the widget or the changes on all sites? So um, we do have a lot of restaurant specific features, but we don't only service restaurants. We'll really work well for any sort of small business website. When it comes to creating your own custom widgets like calculators, etc., you can definitely do that if you're able to code them in JavaScript and HTML. Use the custom HTML feature and add them in. They will only be visible on your site, though. They're not going to affect other people's sites on the platform. So whatever changes or custom widgets you come up with, they're just for you. So if you want to do that, go for it. Keep in mind that there isn't like some sort of backend database access that you'll have, or you'll be able to do like a database thing. So it would have to be something in like JavaScript. Jessica's asking, I love the fact that you guys have taken into consideration the designers who like to edit their own code. There are a lot of drag and drop disciples that do not allow this, and it's very frustrating. Well, thank you, Jessica. That's fantastic. Thank you for the feedback. Andre's saying, I'm gathering that this is not free for designers. May I suggest instead purchasing Scriba that part of the DC project fees go towards the designer being able to use Doudna 1. Andre, I want to make sure I'm communicating clearly here that while the program isn't free if you choose to continue to use it in your own agency, to complete the Design Crowd job, there is no fee involved. It's a free 30-day trial. You could probably make 30 different restaurant websites in 30 days, and you won't have to pay us a single penny in order to complete the work here. So it's absolutely free for the purposes of Design Crowd. If you like the platform and you want to make websites on it afterwards, go ahead, but you're under absolutely no obligation to do that. Naomi, you're saying this is a great value. You've used Weebly for a few years, and this is really great. That's awesome to hear. Adam, I'm not going to, I'm not going to ask that or answer that. Let's see. Marissa's saying, I can't wait to experiment with Doudna. This is an amazing presentation. Thank you. It's really cool. Adam, you have a dirty mind. Let's see. Very disappointed you missed the first half of the webinar, but you look forward to the free trial. Will you be available for Connect later if needed? Absolutely. So the webinar, two things. The webinar is recorded, so you'll receive a replay in your email. And then also, if you have any needs while you're building the site, check out support.doudnamobile.com, or you can contact our support team at support@doudnamobile.com or by phone, and the phone number is on the design brief as well. Robin's asking, instead of the $249 a year, can we pay monthly? That's an annual fee. So it does need to be annual. Aslam saying, yes, seems to be very user-friendly. I'm definitely going to try it. Guido saying, forget Muse, doesn't work. The code's pretty bad for SEO. Yeah, forget Muse. I've already forgotten them. Guido saying, is it possible to use Bootstrap templates as a base for building websites? Well, with Doudna, we actually use Foundation as our base.
Pretty much the same thing.
Yeah, Foundation is very similar to Bootstrap. Let's see. What is the job number in Design Crowd? I don't seem to find it. 1028300. So again, I sent a link out, so the link will be in the follow-up email. Christy is saying every product in Design Crowd has its own 30-day free trial. I have no idea. We want to know what Adam said. Sorry, guys, I'm not going to repeat that, but yes, if you wear something during this, never mind. All right, guys. Jessica's saying, if I want to share this webinar with a coworker, can I forward the recorded link? Absolutely. Feel free to share it with whoever you want. No worries there. So I think that's it. Thank you all so much. I appreciate you. Wow, you're staying 20 minutes after.
Yes.
That's awesome. Well, you guys, we love you. Thank you for...
Cody, do you want to talk Star Wars now? We have some audience.
No. The new Star Wars movie is going to be awesome. The first three were terrible. All right, so thank you again so much.
Thank you, everyone.
Have a good day. Bye-bye.